In today's video, I'm going to go over how to use the Domo Java CLI to figure out undocumented API endpoints that you can use in your projects. So to preface this, there's two kind of API endpoints that Domo has, and they're kind of colloquially known as the uppercase P and lowercase p public API. Um, the only thing you really need to know is that the documented uppercase P API are the ones that you'll see here on developer.domo.com. So it's more common APIs like dataset, groups, pages, all that fun stuff. Then there is a second layer called the undocumented APIs. And these are more, I don't want to say complicated, but they're definitely different APIs that Domo uses under the covers all the time. And so in the tutorial today, I'm going to use the Java CLI to kind of uncover, kind of show how Domo runs under the hood and how you can find these API endpoints to use in your own projects. And so first off, I'm going to assume that you've used the Domo CLI before. If you haven't, I would recommend you go to a help article on Domo and just type in Java CLI. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to run the CLI. So in this case, Java jar domo util.jar. We'll put this in the command line to start up this CLI. And in this case, I'm just going to type help. I always type help to understand how these different commands work. And so in this case, we're going to go to the log API command. So let's go help log API. And so now it shows us that we can save it to a file. So I am going to log API and put it in a file local. So I'll just call it test.log. And once I do this, it'll now be running in the background. And so now anytime I'm running a command, it's going to be going in the background. And so now what we'll do, let's do a couple simple commands where we'll first connect to our instance. So I'm going to connect to this server. Let's go to domo csbeta.domo.com with my username and my password, which I will promptly change after this video. Okay, so now it's logging as we speak, and so let's do one more. Let's do the dataset run now command. So we'll just do a dataset and we'll execute that, and then we'll quit. Let's quit out of this. So far we've executed two commands, which is great. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the log file that we've generated. And so if I come over here, this is the log file that we created. And it's pretty big, but really the most common things you'll have to look at is at the beginning. It'll show what kind of request we're sending to the endpoint, as well as what our endpoint is, and then also what the body is, right? So with this authentication endpoint, this is the specific endpoint for my Domo CS beta org. Here's the username, password, and method. This is, I pass all this as a request body. And this other stuff, not super important, but if I go down, let's go to the one where I execute the data set. Yeah, right here. It's another post request. In this case, it's going to the data v1 streams API. And you can see with this execution, in this case, right, the request body is pretty simple. And I think you can actually omit that if you want to. But I guess the whole purpose here is showing that of all the commands in the Java CLI, you can look and see how it runs under the hood by looking at this, right? So this might be a little confusing for some people, but really I always just take out what the HTTP request is, what kind of request is it, what's the body look like, and then try and replicate this in your favorite API utility, such as Postman. So anyway, I hope you found that helpful. I think one consideration to call out, if you're in the CLI and if you type in help and you're not seeing, let me do this again. If you're not seeing that command called log API, most likely it's because you don't have the current version. So 3.14 is the current version right now. But if you type in help and you don't see it, I would just recommend go download the new version of the CLI. That happened to me the first time I tried to do this. So anyway, hope you found it helpful. Thanks.